Hey everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101, where we give you fun, new rock painting ideas that anybody can create. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you do, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get painting.
When I write down All You Need Is Love, I literally hear it as the Beatles in my head from the song I Will Not Sing For You Though. Hello, Robin. So we're going to work on these 3D style letters. I've done them before in the past, so if you've seen that, I'm sorry this is repeating, but I think these are really cute and fun for beginners. And as you can see, you can do them on multiple styles of backgrounds. So this is a pour painted background. If you're not familiar with pour painting and you would like a link to information on that, just ask for it in the comments, and when I come back through, I'll see it and give you a link on the site for pour painting. It's great to put word rocks on top of that and you get the cool designs inside your letters. I'll prop that up so you can still see it here. I got all these extra rocks over here. And then this one is just on one of those white rocks, nice and flat rocks here. So I probably should have painted this rock white. This is just one of my landscaping style stones. I should have probably painted it white. I'll show you the difference on why sometimes it's good to do a base coat of white first. This is on a white rock, but see how much brighter that pink is? But I didn't want to redo it. I wanted to get going here for you guys today. So this layer was nice and dry, and it's still gonna look pretty. Just seeing it next to some of these other ones, I base coated all together. But I know sometimes I'm working on these nice flat stones. Not everybody has those, so I wanted to work on like a river rock style stone. So the first thing we are going to do is write our word. Now, if you are not comfortable writing letters just like this on your stone freehand, you might want to practice a little bit on paper. And a good way to learn how to do a letter like this, don't have a pen around me here. Here's, look at, you guys can see, remember these guys? All right, so a good way is if you write your word just in all capital letters, just stick letters like this, and then create sections, you know, kind of trace around them. It'll show you what your letters would look like 3D, not 3D, but with space inside. So with your O, you obviously would do an inside O. That one's pretty easy to do. So with your V, your lines at the top would kind of angle. I like to keep a nice flat line to go around that point at the bottom, but you can make it a point as well. And then your E, you kind of got to go up, over, up, over, up, over like that, okay? And that one I kind of got away from me there. Okay, so if you need to practice a few times on paper before you go to your rock, go for it. Also, another way, if you still struggle with getting your word onto your rock, another way that you could do this is you can fill in your letters. So if you outline your letter and then you fill them in a solid color afterwards, so that way if you mess up on your lining a little bit, if you're going over that with paint, you'd be able to cover up any mistakes that you could possibly be making when you're putting that on. So today I'm using, which pen do I have here? The PC1MR. Any extra fine tip paint pen will do for something like this. And just make sure I'm nice and dry here. So I'm just going to outline my letters on here. This style is pretty forgiving as far as spacing, so I'm not overly concerned. Like the layout, I guess is what I meant by that, is pretty flexible. I mean, you don't even have to have them a straight line across. Just make sure you're leaving enough space along the top to write your all you need is. But that's what I'm using just love as this big word, and the rest of the lettering is nice and simple. And I know just writing them on like this is probably not something everybody can just pick up a paint pen or pencil and do. You could though also, since you're going over it with black, you can do this with a pencil on your rock first. I don't like to do pencil on rock if I'm doing like white on top, but if you're just gonna go over it with black, you can go right on there real lightly and kind of sketch your word on first with pencil. It will, like if you're not confident just going on with your paint pen. I'm gonna go ahead and write my all you need is along the top because we need something to aim for when we're creating our little drop shadow. So you can space it multiple ways, like you can write all and then you need is, just however you think it's gonna flow on your rock, okay? So I'm gonna write all you need is on this one. And again, I'm just using capital letters here. Just writing nice and slow so I get plenty of ink. I don't want to have to go over them a bunch of times on this one. So sometimes if you write really fast, you'll kind of skip on your stone a little bit. So this one's a little bumpier of a stone. So if you write slower, you'll make sure you get that paint down in all those little bumps. So you'll have to be patient with me while I write this out. There we go, just like that. All right, so now once you see this on here, you're gonna pick some place that you're aiming for your drop shadow. Just visually give yourself maybe the top of this center L if you put all in the middle. If you did do all of it across in one line, just find one of the letters where there's a point that in your mind, all of these lines we're about to make are going to disappear towards that point. So starting all the way on the left-hand side here of the L, anywhere where there's intersection, the O is a little tricky, we'll get to that in a second. You're going to create an invisible line from that top of that L, which is our spot, all the way back here, and you're going to create a little angle line. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as you work your way around, I'm going to leave that one a little short. We're going to create a little space around that, kind of like I did with this E. So down here, nobody's going to come with a ruler at your rock, so doesn't have to be perfect, but like this is going to almost be straight up and down here. And this intersection is literally the line of the V. So here, on all these tops, the E is going to have a bunch of them. And you could grab a little piece of Post-it note or paper if that makes you more comfortable with this and actually move it along and create these lines. Just like that. Okay, now with the O, we're gonna find the edge where we won't draw a line through the O. So I wouldn't go to here because I would draw a line through the O. So about here, okay? So, and we're gonna create a curve. I talked too long, my paint tip dries out a little bit there. There we go, so a little line there. And then right about there or so, okay? And then we'll also put something inside the O. Now we're gonna connect these lines and fill them in to give us our 3D letters. So again, I'm gonna create like a cutout. Here, where I show you this, put my cap on. So see on this E, I just created a little bit of a little bite out of that section there so that it didn't run into my lettering. So it's okay to do that if you need to. So like with this L, I'm gonna have like a little, and I'm even gonna draw that on there. This little kind of cutout. And then we'll go down and over to the side here. And then off to this side. And then we would fill in all those sections black. And then our L has this cool 3D effect to it. And again, when you've got these lumpy, bumpy rocks, move slowly. It helps from, so your paint pen won't splatter. You could definitely be filling this in with a really small paintbrush or even toothpicks and acrylic paint as well. If you don't want to fill in with your paint pen. But if you move slowly, it helps you get into those little indents and bumps really well. Okay, we're gonna go on to our O next. So we're gonna trace up and we're gonna follow the top curve of our O. Watch out for that U there. And then we're gonna fill that in. inside of the O, you would have kind of this drop inside, just like that. Okay, so top of our V. Remember that side line on this one was right along the edge of the V, so you're really not going to have a lot going on that side, but you will on this. This would go disappear kind of into this area, so we're going to just drop that down into the side. Okay. Sometimes you have to let that paint pen dry, and then you'll notice little spots you need to get into. Always come back around and get them all touched up. All right, now our E. If you do bump into one of your other letters, let that letter stay on the front there. That way you still see that full V shape. Okay. Across the top. And then also the base coat that I did on this rock, I was showing you guys that I did multiple rocks. The reason there's multiple is because I was using the big brush technique. I don't know if I know I've talked about that before. It's on the website. Basically, you're just brushing across the top back and forth to blend the colors, and you do multiple rocks at once because your brush kind of gets loaded with paint. So it's one that if you're going to base coat a bunch of rocks, you can use. So I'll come back and drop that down in the comments as well for you guys, if anybody's unfamiliar with that. Okay. So as this dries, you might find little indents or something that you might need to fill in with black, but for the most part, we're already done. Just like that. I mean, I chit-chatted quite a bit and we haven't even hit 15 minutes. So I added these little hearts around. You can add little heart designs. When I do my hearts with a paint pen, and I'm trying to keep them small, a lot of times I'll actually do kind of 2 teardrops next to each other and then fill it in so that I can make it actually wider than I might normally, because then when you fill in, it actually closes in that middle section a little bit and you don't lose that indent. Because sometimes when you try to draw them, the thickness of the paint pen can fill in that inner section at the top of the heart. So again, you just kind of do a teardrop over here and then off to the other side, and then when you fill them in, you can always bring that V in the center a little closer, but it helps from having no V at the top of your heart. You can also add little dots or designs inside of your letters. You guys know how much I like doing my little dots and stuff inside, so just play around. Do whatever you want, add any little whimsy you want to your letters, and you're done. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Simple for Valentine's Day, to hide around town. We'll bring these all in here. Hope you guys will give this one a try. If you guys had any questions about it, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I always look through. I know I don't really see a lot of them while I'm recording live, but I always come back and read them afterwards. So thank you to everybody that shared this video into their local rock painting groups. I know a lot of you guys have been doing that, which is great. Really helps these reach more people. One last thing you could do if you wanted to is create an edge along this. If you don't like this rough painted edge, you could come along here with a black painted edge to kind of frame it all in if you wanted to do something like that as well. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week, probably with another live painting tutorial. If we're going live, it's always Thursdays. Bye-bye.